This is a short presentation on the new features on the AcePos Touchscreen version basic system for the e-invoicing. Now, when you first go into the system, once you have upgraded the system to the e-invoicing feature, when you go inside here from main menu under Others, Administrative Tools, System Setup, the first thing we need to do is to put in all the e-invoice details. So what is needed here will be your company name, your tax number, your business registration number. If you have SST or tourism tax numbers, you need to fill up. What is your MSIC, industry type, your email, address, postcode, city, the state, and then country, contact number, and also the actual URL, which is a website for customers to key in their tax number and so on for those who request for e-invoice, and also the actual LHDN server for the e-invoice submission. Now the tax number can be validated. If you have an internet connection, it will validate to make sure whether it is correct or not, your tax number and PRN. These are the features that you need to fill up to make the new AcePos system to be able to do e-invoicing for you. Now initially you can test your e-invoicing features using a test server. Once you're ready, you can switch it to the actual LHDN server, and then you can also say what is the starting date you want to start your actual e-invoicing submission. Okay, so for the time being, when it first started, we will put in the test server. The second step is for every item that you are selling, you need to change the product E-class. For every product you have, there is an E-class here. You can select, there's a list given by LHDN on what sort of product is it. For example, if it is education fees, insurance, and so on. Alright, if it's not anything else, you can put under or 022, which is others. So for every sales item, you need to put in the E-class. Now, if you have a lot of items, you can actually use this change. Instead of changing one by one, you can use this change stock setting by range, where there's an E-class. You can set one shot for all the product, set in the E-class for all the product at one go. So we can change range by setting. You can choose particular items. If you separate them, for example, beverage or whatever category you have, and then separating. Now let's say I'm changing all, so I put all. I have to come over here. I just take this E-class and then I select the class I want. So maybe let's say I'm using 022 for example. Okay, so let's say I'm using all others. So when I do this and I say proceed, it will change all the product that I have by this class. So it's very fast. You don't have to change one by one. Now once you have done that, you can actually, when you go into post operation, this is what happens. Enter your cashier's entry and password, cash drawer, everything is the same. Now when you issue your invoices, it's the same. That means the way you operate, okay, what is the things that you have sold, and then you settle the bill, for example, and then you print out your kitchen and bar order, same thing, everything is same. The way you operate it, the system is upgraded, then you produce the bill. Now if the customer, this is a normal bill, if the customer asks you for, hey, I want to have an e-invoice, now what you have to do is you can go to functions department and then you request for e-invoice. You click this button, request for e-invoice, and then you select what is the bill number. For example, just now the bill was 82, you say selected bill, and then the system will print out now reprint the bill with a QR code. So your customer will have to scan this QR code, and this will take them to a website where they are supposed to enter their own personal details, because for you to have an e-invoice, you have to enter your tax number or your NRIC, your contact, and so on information. So you reprint this invoice for a customer to scan this QR code and fill up the information, and later on the AcePos will automatically submit the e-invoice for them. Okay, so customers scanning the QR code, you bring them to a website. Here they have to enter information. So if you are an individual, you put NRIC. If you're a company, you put your BRN, which is your business registration number. Key in your IC number if you're an individual, your name, your address, city, postcode. These are the information that is required for the submission of the e-invoice. Then select the state. Now the states are already a pop-up is given by the LHDN, so you have to follow. Then enter your phone number and your email address, and then you click on the submit button. Then the system will record down your details in the website, and the AcePos will later do the auto submission once all this information have been submitted. Now, once the customer has filled in their personal details in the website that is provided to them, when they scan the QR code, the AcePos system will automatically do the submission for them as e-invoice. And when that is ready, they can download the PDF e-invoice themselves using the same QR code given to them. Or if they come back to your shop, you can actually have these functions. For example, print e-invoice. Let's say this one is already been submitted. I can deselect the bill. You can see this becomes an e-invoice. You can see there's an e-invoice, and then you will print out the QR code of the submitted and validated e-invoice. So customer can scan this now and actually goes into the income tax server and see that the details of the bill has been submitted for them as a invoice. So the QR code now will be different. It actually shows the tax server that contains the invoice for them. And if they did this on their own, they can actually scan this and download the original QR code given to them. They can use that scan, and the system will ask them to download the PDF e-invoice themselves. So operation of system, as far as operating the AcePos system is concerned, there's not much difference. That means you can still do this. If you have table, you have number of guests, you can do all your orders. For those who don't have number of tables, you just issue your bill, settle the bill the usual way. Kitchen and bar order comes up, you have, and then the bill comes up. This is the original bill. If the customer requests and say I want an e-invoice, then cashier needs to go inside here, request for e-invoice, select the bill number that request for e-invoice selected, and reprint a bill with a QR code for them to scan, and they key in their personal details, and then the AcePos system will auto do the e-invoice submission for them, and later on they can go back and download the e-invoice themselves. So at the end of the month, you will have to do a consolidated e-invoice for all the balance of invoices that is not been submitted as individual e-invoice. You can just use this option, which is already fully automated. Let's say you're doing for the month of April, and then consolidate the invoices for the whole month, and the system will do a consolidated invoice for you and submit as a e-invoice for the balance of all those invoices that have not been submitted as individual invoice. Now for this e-invoicing, there's a new report under report section called e-invoice submit. This will show you a status of all the submission they have done, whether it's approved or not, and so on. You can see here, for example, once it's approved and validated, you can see the line here says validated, validated. Those that are pending submission will show pending submission. If there's any reason, maybe the customers did not fill up their tax number correctly or whatever, that has been rejected, there will also be a reason telling you why it's rejected inside the submission. So this will help to tell you the status of all the submission, including your e-invoice consolidated e-invoice for the whole month.